this video, we're going to be talking about the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. So we can actually take the Pythagorean theorem and flip it around. And that says if c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, then triangle ABC is a right triangle. So suppose we do have a triangle, we're not sure whether it is right. If I take the longest side and square it and see if it equals the other two sides squared and their sum, then that means it's a right triangle. So the important thing here when we're going through problems is that C is always going to be the longest side. So use the longest side as C. Let's go through some examples. So here I have some triangles. I want to tell whether each triangle is a right triangle. And so I want to see whether the longest side, which would be my hypotenuse if it were a right triangle, squared is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. And so here I see I have a triangle with side length 7, 8, and 100, square root of 113. And so I'm going to take my longest side, which here is going to be the square root of 113. If you're not sure, you can go ahead and put that in your calculator and it'll give you a decimal answer on what that is. And you'll see that it is bigger than 7 and 8. So I'm going to take my longest side, 100, square root of 113, and see whether that equals 7 squared plus 8 squared. Well, when I take the square of the square root of 113, square root and the square are actually inverse operations. So those cancel each other out, and I'm left with 113. 7 squared, I get 49. 8 squared, I get 64. And then 49 plus 64, I get 113. So I do end up with a true statement. 113 is equal to 113. So the answer here is yes. Okay, let's try another one. So here I have 15, 36, and 4 times the square root of 95. So again, if you're not sure whether 36 or the square root of 4, the square root of 95 times 4 is the longest one, you can take 4 square root of 95 into your calculator, and when you do that, you should get 38.987. So that means that this 4 times the square root of 95 is my longest side, so I want to have that on the left. And then we'll have 15 squared plus 36 squared. So when I'm squaring this left-hand side, I'm really having 4 square root of 95 times 4 square root of 95. 15 squared, I get 225. And then 36 squared, I get 1296. And so here we're going to multiply our kind of like our like terms. So 4 times 4, I get 16. Square root of 95 times square root of 95, I get 95. 225 plus 1296, I get 1521. And then 16 times 95, I get 1520. And so I see here I do not get a true statement. I get 1520 is equal to 1521, which isn't true. So that means that the answer here is no. Okay, and then for this last one, I have the side lengths 14, 22, and 3 times the square root of 34. Again, I need to see whether 3 times square root of 34 is my largest side. And so if you take the square root of 34, you should get 5.8. And then if you multiply that by 3, you get 17.49. So I can make a note there that this is approximately 17.5. So that means that this isn't the longest side. My longest side is going to be the 22. And so when I set up my equation, I'm going to see if 22 squared is equal to 14 squared plus 3 root 34 squared. Go ahead and pause the video. I want you to finish this out. When you think you have it, go ahead and press play. So the answer you should have gotten here was no. When I multiplied everything out, I got 484 is equal to 502, which is not a true statement.